the top 6.
But don't forget, we got to see some vintage top action as well as D+ try to crash into the compound. He takes down 3 people, I think 4 overall. You can see Falcons 18 points, massive game for them. And again, not to mention only them, but Xavier, who has struggled getting 1 point across 2 matches, getting themselves 15 here. Then 4MV, you know, Max, you were kind of critical about them, and I think for good reason. But they do start to show up here with their own 10 points.
Yeah, I better synergy hodges on the push on 77, all kind of pushing together, like literally a 1-2 second difference when they cross doors or peek through windows. So like, I think they maybe spotted out that their synergy was not on point and up to par for this lobby, and are trying to, you know, fix those minor mistakes we've seen in the past.
Yeah, they just gotta go back to basics, you know, play together as a squad. They have the firepower, right? So I think that they realized with that circle, like, okay, Falcons are gonna win this game. Let's just play the edge and just try to get as many elimination points as we can. And when they have that clear vision, you can just see it works, right? It works for them. They got plenty of eliminations, at least for this match here. And it's getting scary, I'll say that, because you look at all the teams, right, that soaked up points in this match. Those were the teams that we were really worried about, right? So, man, it's only going to make things interesting here as the day goes on.
MVP going to be top here. And I do want to point out one thing you brought up. We're talking about teams feeling themselves or individual players. And Cilio, Max, you're talking about how they kind of went for a 2-2 split, but allowing Stalwart to be between their 2-2 split.
That was crazy. I was like, is that intentional, or did it just like happen to go down that way and Stalwart moved in between them? But that was kind of crazy. They did outlive then Stalwart, so it somewhat worked out, Jason. But yeah, that was a weird one. But still, in Cilio sweeping edge, it is kind of their new playstyle, and it's working out because they're in first place, tied with Voin, Donkey ID. So, I mean, yeah, looking pretty good for the side of CSA and SEA right now in the rankings.
Look down, 4MV. They also get through into 6th place at the moment. So you got D+, 4MV team, look good, Falcons, Void, and Incilio at the moment. But again, I mean, you can already see 2 teams lingering on the edge. Just 1 point difference between them and getting into top 6 with IWNRX and, of course, the Vicious. So I think we're starting to see some normality in the teams we expected to be top 6, but honestly, with only being 3 matches in, you sure as hell know anything can change by the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, but we're already a quarter of the way through, dude. That's how wild this is. Looking at the second page, it's still pretty dang close here. I mean, besides, you know, the last 3 teams, Murray Sejong and BTR, they're going to need a really strong game in this next one, that's for sure. But everybody else, like, they have that pop-off potential, and anything could happen. One team in particular I'm going to be really looking at is I'm going to look a little bit harder at Regnum Caria. You know, this was a good game for them. They got out of that bottom stage. Now they're in 12th place, so they're in a pretty decent position. But, you know, with how these other teams are performing, Max, yeah, you got to make it happen here now.
I feel like looking, I mean, I'm happy you bring up RCB. I definitely agree with your point. But another team that's kind of been falling off is right now Mirror and Sejong. We haven't seen too much from them ever since the end of their group, and they've been struggling ever since. So we need to see a big step up here for the second half of the day.
Well, speaking of the second half of the day, we're going to head to a short break. And when we come back, we'll be diving into our second half with only 3 matches left to go here in day 1 of Last Chance.
Weapon. red team is in the lead. Is about to win. Half of the match is over, and the red team is in the lead.
Boards. I would say Vish is still the biggest surprise, but Incilio performing like this is definitely like right behind that. I don't know about you, Max.
It's very close. I'd have to agree on that with that kind of sentiment. It is definitely interesting because it's a team that also maybe had a little bit less time to prepare because they were like, wait, we're going to PMGC, what's happening there? And they've really significantly improved, and I think that the standout player for me is definitely dynamo. Like, this guy has such a good clutch factor here, so it's incredible. Though before we head in the game, on the top 4 gunslingers, Icy is currently in second place above your tops, your actions, your east, which we didn't see that happen very often because, as we know, he's not like the fragger of the team. He typically isn't. He's like more of a support off-angle player, but that's kind of interesting to see him top the charts for his team.
I just saw Silas, dude. Did you see his face? He was just like staring off into the distance, dude. Things are starting to get really
in, man.
Yeah, he's gotta lock in here because I mean now's the time. Now's the time. Last Aerogel of the day. Gotta get it done.
Oh, 10 seconds left to go. Before we do hop into this, that means we're almost at the halfway point of the entire last chance. There's only 6 teams that can move through. We're going to find out who will be able to jump into the top 6 here after this game as we head into it with John out and Blink.
We've had our midday break and we will keep it rolling here from Milta Peninsula over towards the quarry through the middle of the map. So a nice easy plane path to go in for match number 4. We'll see how our teams navigate this one. The top spot under hot contest right now. It's been on a tiebreaker for the last 2 matches, Blank, and just about Incilio getting into that top spot. I think this is the first time we've ever seen it go to the 4th tiebreaker statistic, right? You go chicken dinners, then placements, then points in last match, but all of those were the same for those 2 teams, and now it goes to the placement points in their last match, with Incilio getting 2 and Voindoki getting none, despite having a much bigger impact on that circle.
Yeah, funnily enough, I mean, this is the crazy thing where it can really get a little bit hot there. Obviously, we're not too concerned about a 1st and 2nd place tiebreaker, although it is very cool to see, as I don't think we've seen it in a long while, but we are concerned about that 6th place bubble. This is the last angle of the day, as the boys were saying, talking about RCB and how Silas looking off into the void, staring at his own fate. And I mean, at the moment for RCB, typically they do very well on our angles. You're through half of your angles already. Right, this is your last one before we hit that 50% mark. This is where they do usually significantly well. So far, it's not looked great. They drop in Rozok though, a northeast shift on the circle does bode well for them. I'd be pretty happy to see them do well here over on Stalber side of things, and I think RCB would be a very good team to add to our roster of the top 6, because I still think that potential hasn't quite been reached yet. At the moment though, 1st place goes to Incilio and Voindoki, as you were talking about earlier. Falcons sliding into 3rd place after a lovely chicken dinner they're able to pick up. And Team Liquid, D+, and 4MV hanging on. 4MV probably the most interesting one out of all of that, though it is a tenuous 6th place, with practically everyone underneath them being 2 points behind them.
It is a really tightly fought pack, and because we are only 3 matches in, it will start to define itself. Rafinha, come on, you can get it. You can get it off the ground. No, he's just going to go for the vehicle instead. Bobbing along on the bottom of the beautiful briny sea. Venom's a Brew 6, that one. Brilliant film. Very, very old now. Luke's going to be heading on in with the vehicles, though, on the south.
Real performance over on that last game, the 1v4 versus BTR, Indo on Indo action, but overall an insane player and a rookie coming into this one. Let's hear from Seven about Zeta.
Welcome back to a quick interview with the 7WG. This one, oh man, I'm happy about this one. We got Zeta from VD. There's been some questions asking who's the better Indonesian team. Is it VD? Is it BTR? I feel like we got a clear answer with what just happened in the last match. Tell me, what was going through your mind whenever you clutched that up?
Oke, jadi sebelum ini ada pertanyaan tim Indonesia yang mana paling kuat di antara BTR dan juga Venom ID. Dan setelah apa yang terjadi, kita ngerasa adakah itu fix benar lah yang Void ID adalah lebih jago daripada BTR. Jadi pertanyaannya adalah ketika kamu ngeratain BTR tadi, apa yang berada di pikiran kamu?
Yang di pikiran aku sih ya karena ada third party juga, Jadi aku usahain buat ratain yang di belakang. Soalnya teman-teman aku di belakang lagi perang juga sama RCB.
Okay, so basically, yes, of course, I'm focused on myself where we need to clear on the backside because there's a third party as well. So yeah, I just gonna focus and try to kill them all, and then we just gonna focus on RCB. So yeah.
Well, keep doing that because if you keep up with those clutch ups, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be hyped up.
Like
Back to you guys.
Excellent. You've heard of the Falcon Punch, but now we're seeing the Zeta Donkey Kick to be taking players out of the lobby left and right. Will we see a repeat here? Because they have the far side of the circle to get to. Voin Donkey ID right now over in Primorsk and a long road ahead of them, a long approach. But will they go for that edge sweep style that Incilio seem to be prepared to do, depending on the situation in the game, which I find to be. I'm gonna give them a little bit of flack here. It's such a non-answer when a team says that. It's like, oh, do you know, we just do what's best for the game. It's like, okay, but which do you prefer? Like, you've got to like one more than the other, surely.
It's hard. It is hard. I think when you play PUBG Mobile, I think, to be honest with you, as much as this is also a non-answer, you have to play like that. Like, it depends on the circle, massively.
That is true.
I guess you do have a preference, right? Would you rather play central or would you play edge? I think most teams would say central. You know, if you could be in the center of the circle, easy peasy. Some crazy teams might enjoy playing the edge and really playing it right on that border of insanity of, damn, we're going to sweep people, but we may go down in the process and completely scupper our chances at getting into the top 6. But we let those teams do what they want. Yeah, I think most teams would like to play central, but right now, for instance, this circle here, if you're in Incilio, you're likely going to be playing edge here.
RCB have the angles onto 77. A little bit of EMEA infighting here. 77 swing in for the pickup. Uber's arrived and takes him on down the hill. 5-star rating. Thank you very much. Get me out of here.
Yeah, right now, actually first time in quite a while, that we haven't had an EMEA-dominated top side of the lobby. At the moment, it is Indonesia with Voin Donkey, Mongolia for Falcons, but no EMEA up towards that top side. 77 in Major Pride, though, not far behind. And I do think that they could move up. IW NRX were shortly cut out from that top 6, though. 17 points, though, to the 18 from 4MV. Very doable. But for IW NRX, their position right now, it's not secure. I do think they can get another big game going, and they have to make it happen, because for IW NRX, there has been a fair few times, John, where we've been waiting for them to do something big, and it just never came around.
Always just waiting out that window, watching. Never delivered. Not yet, anyway. North side circle condensing in 7.5 minutes through. Haven't seen first blood drawn. 4MV on the bridge crossing. Always got to be a worry for them, but nobody in their way for now. Voin Donkey also late on that rotate from Primorsk on that southwest side. I mean, generally on a circle like this, you know you're going to have to rotate in late, so why not go real late? You're in stage 1. The zone is definitely manageable. Just grab a bit of healing on board. Keep yourself topped up with those bandages. Get yourself into the circle when those openings present themselves.
4MV, long rotate for them. Yeah, it's going to be a bit tough. But like you say, bandaging up, keep themselves nice and healthy. Heading on in up towards that northeast side. It's a curious one because a lot of teams are going to want to play on the north side of Stalbus. You are cutting around about, let's say, 25% of the circle out, but now all of a sudden we're going to head up there anyway, as RTV do find themselves a decent position. I'd be curious to see which teams are able to take up that compound that sits very much on the north side, on the coastal line. I think we have seen Mirren Sejong pick that position before, and I imagine they'll go for it again. Mirren Sejong currently in 14th place with 8 points. This right now might be a good game for them to extract some points from this match and get themselves more over towards that middle side of the pack, because they're one of the few teams that is lagging behind alongside with Loops and BTR.
Trying to move off the mark for Mirren Sejong, but denied so far. Falcons off the back of a chicken dinner. A low elim chicken dinner, granted, but still up towards the top spots there. And with that nice little 11-point, well, little, nice, pretty vast right now, 11-point gap from third down to fourth. They'll be pretty happy to be the ones to receive it. Luke on the north side also looking to try and challenge up towards that bubble position. Every team definitely still within striking distance, but they're running their supply of games dry now. Bad games from this point out become terminal at the bottom of the tables. Xavier on the west side threw themselves a lifeline with that last one.
Yeah, and they really needed it. I mean, with Xavier, they jumped quite far up the lobby, but only into 9th place. Like, it wasn't a game that suddenly they could breathe a sigh of relief. It was a game that we might be able to get to the top 6 now. So it's a good position to be in for Xavier. I think they do play well on that side of the match. Incilio cut out on the southeast side. Looks like they're going to try and rotate round. It was Loops to get ahead of Mirror and Sage Jungle towards the compound on that north side. Not the team I thought would be able to do that, but I think some teams are assuming this is going to head back down towards the south 4MV. Apex is down. Reefus in no position to help out versus Evo Station at the moment.
Ooh, but Baron is. Elementrix goes down, and that's going to slow them out just a little bit. Hop around the side. Evo Station still peeking, lands the spray. The shotgun shell through the window there, and now back to the AUG. Not bothering to confirm the flush, but docks up for the fight. Steps in through the door, and Evo Station doesn't know which way's up. Will get taken down by the dock. And it's up to Baron and Doc to keep their teammates safe. D plus Kia, though, wanting to try and move through this one. Keep this fight under control. Keep it bleeding so that they can extract the points from it. 18-1 so far is their scoreline. They're in the top 6. They want to keep 4MV beneath them.
4MV is getting a little bit dicey right now. They do get one of the reses through. Apex is bleeding out slowly but surely, and I don't know how likely it's going to be that they're able to pick him back up again. They're dropping smokes to maybe get across to him here, but again, we say this a lot. Can play on as 3 and attempting to get that player back up again, maybe not the best of ideas for you. Eastern shift on the circle. This means D plus has to get a move on. They know they get the initial flush out here, so for them it's much more of a priority to move over towards that north side, but they're happy to just leave Nolbu behind alongside with one other player to hold out 4MV. A smart choice, and they can anchor back over towards Fabian and Chips.
D plus Kia. We saw a couple of splits from them in that last game. It worked out quite well. They got a lot of points for it. So, looking to repeat that. A nice little separation on the southwest side to keep their options open. Not getting too bold. They could have very easily gone for a crash on this situation, Blank. And they could have very easily gone in and made that decision, but they didn't. They held back. They're playing those safe averages right now. This Team Liquid losing players. It's Void Donkey ID. Putting their first point on the game and securing that top spot away from Incilio. 2 points behind now.
Yeah, great news for Void Donkey ID. And again, this is a really long road. Pubg is great. They have a location to play down towards the south side if they want it. But overall, Void Donkey ID looking to take control of that staging on the mountain, the staircase upwards. The Soulwart playing in Stalbert itself over towards those ruins. They're very much out of the action for quite a while, I'd imagine. Major Pride, though, down to 1 player in just AZ.
Xavier making a wide wrap. They were up on the northwest edge, Blank, near Severny, behind IWNRX, but they're wrapping down to the south side. They may spot a player from D plus Kia. This is a bit of an unexpected roll-up. If they can find this knock, it would be huge to open up this south side of the map. Approach from that Yaz Lake, potentially. The Falcons are across the way, and D plus Kia may just have to send straight for it. Forced into the fight by this rotate, this wide swing by Xavier. They're returning fire, however, in the meantime. From that high ground, Nolbu hops into the vehicle again. And Nadesy will just take that back step. A breather for Xavier. D plus Kia won't give in that easily.
I mean, D plus, a very smart choice. I like the way they're angling themselves as well, because they're sending Osal as well as Nolbu to the front lines, essentially. And then they leave Fabian and Chips, their 2 best off-anglers, as backstops. So it's a very conscious decision, the way they're playing this. So they're always angling Osal and Nolbu to the most dangerous regions of the map when it comes to those 2-2s. Yeah, lovely plays from them. But Xavier do get ahead on a very nice rotate. over towards No Lean here. Good position to play overall. It has great sight lines outwards, and it's hard to assault because by the time you head over towards the ridge sides that look in towards these buildings, you're out in the open. I think that's the most significant thing about this compound that DXavier holds, and it's the one that I thought Von Donkey would take control of, but they're much happier sitting up over towards the rocks on that north side.
Might regret that though, with the circle shift puts them right on the boundary for those teams on the north and maybe first to face. DXavier in that compound may have to face off against the roll-up. Ooh, 4MV. They're out and eliminated with 1 elim, but D plus Kia may just be sending straight towards DXavier on this position. The Falcons, really the only team that could slow them down, and it looks like they're moving into position to do that as Loops takes out Shifu. 77 on the northwest side, with Loops still looking to make their move. Nino wants the flash, but instead launches the nade over to Magnum. Gets 2 for the price of 1.
77 has been struggling a little bit so far. Magnum getting exploded on the vehicle as well. Not great news for them. Major Pride is now out. Alongside with 4MV, which happened very quickly in the space of one another. Neil looking to finish off the final player. I can't quite find him inside the smoke. Sadira finds Vitin on the back line, but a rundown does go through. And that will be 77 out in 14th place, 16 points. Not really gathering too much storm here for the team. IWNRX, though, they take this opportunity to get ahead of Loops. A smart choice and a smart time to do it.
Mir and Sejong pushing into the west side as well, with IWNRX north and up the hill from them. They are slightly ahead, but you've got Team Liquid in the way. You've got Bigatron as well in the way on this northwest edge. And behind all of that sits Voin Donkey ID. So a lot of teams trying to make their approach from this angle, and not all of them are going to be able to do it. The question is who will make that bid for freedom? Who will give themselves that opportunity? Maybe a breakout towards the east. I mean, kind of scouting there for IWNRX towards Stalwart.
For Stalwart, they are still really very far up on the high ground. Octaguri finds Loops consistently a very strong player here for Stalwart, though, despite that start of the Sandhawk where they were able to get a full knockdown over towards DXavier. It's not been a lot more than that. Falcons finding Mir and Sejong. Hoxie's down. There's a lot of fighting on this northwest side, John.
Oh, it's getting hot. Over towards Void Donkey ID's position. Loops have nades into there. Could potentially be dangerous. The Falcons are getting moved aside by Mir and Sejong. 2 players at theirs fall. There's the flashes coming through. Uriel, he's back. Mir and Sejong is playing him. He's in the fold for them. And let's see what they're able to do with it, because he's got 2 elims already.
I play my trap card. Uriel getting knocked. Haha. Oh dear. He's down.
He's dead.
Maybe Seiwu can pick him up. No, it's a little bit too far away. So, for Mir and Sejong, they bring out their special move to get 3 eliminations. It's not horrible, it's not terrible, but it's not going to get them out of that position inside the lobby where they are lagging behind. Again, that's another one down. Seiwu falls to top, one of the final 2 players remaining here for the Falcons, looking to keep their point scoring strong today. Yeah. Hellish north side battle inside this circle, and RCB, another team, desperately needs to step up here. They have the center of the circle. They're facing off against the remainder of Loops.
There is a waterfall right now. RCB have nades on towards Loops from the high ground. Loops have nades onto Voin Donkey ID from the high ground. It is nasty stuff. And the damage is rolling downhill here. You can see there's a Molotov over towards Potato on Voin Donkey ID. And RCB just going to continue to put pressure on from that even further higher ground. Oh, this is nasty. Everybody going low, going down here. And the northwest side continues to be a battleground.
Yeah, the difference at the moment for Voin Donkey ID is that they're so out of the way, is that in certain ways, they aren't all that exposed to these nades. Yes, that Molotov does go through, but what they're banking on at the moment is all of this. You can see over towards the northwest side. There is a bunch of eliminations to be picked up in the coming future. Not unless Team Liquid can shunt them aside. Those Mythic makes his run out over towards the top. Voin Donkey is not looking out this way just yet.
Could be dangerous and could be another Team Liquid spoiler, but no. Bigatron have Satar out in the wing and able to get another point, get a little bit further. 4 elims found. They're up to 9 points and has got a first aid. Blasted back though. Immediate response. The play zone actually want to get that knock. 4 elims, not going to be enough to put them off that bottom side of the tables with Loops and Mirin Sejong both still alive and having elims too.
For RCB, a likely win this game. For RCB, we talked about them earlier, needing to get themselves a big match to get themselves back in towards that running. Team Liquid taking down the rest of Falcons as Chief makes a big jump off the top side, and Voin Donkey's been waiting for this moment for quite a while. Will pick up that elimination. Potato is down, holding the pot on the high ground, but he will get back up into the action, ready to mash the opposition. Kim is shot over towards Nolbu. This is over towards that south side. D+ have just been basically playing around this lake for a long